Reconcile these with your taxpayer-funded full-time job at Florida Gulf Coast University?
Thank you for the question. FGCU believes in service. There's not a student that graduates from our college that does not complete the service requirement. Am I right, Matt? Keith's been over at FGCU as well. We believe in service. Our faculty are rated on 3 areas: scholarship, teaching, and service. I went to the dean and I spoke to the president and I said, I'm interested in doing this. What's the university's view? And what I was told is this is an opportunity for you to serve the community. We want you to do this, we support this service, and we will work with you in order to make the schedule work. My opponent said at the news press interview that it is indeed a part-time job. She puts in about 20 hours a week. You can go look at the video for yourself. Steve Torber serves on the board. He keeps a full-time career. He does a great job. I haven't heard anyone criticizing him. He's a great role model, and that's what I'll do. Thank you.
You didn't answer the question that we put to you. The question was, how did you feel? How would you vote on the density, the increased density that Bonita Bay wanted? And we didn't hear an answer, so I'd like to actually get it from you.
EJ, thank you for your question. Once again, I would like to answer it. I think it's important when a person's an elected official to not just say, no matter what, I'm going to vote a certain way. That's why it is a quasi-judicial process, as Commissioner Judah mentioned. We have to listen to people like you, to people in Alva Inc., to other residents in the community, get the feedback, listen to the dialogue, listen to the information, listen to other sectors of the community, members of the business community, other stakeholders, review our data, review the evidence. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Commissioner Mills. Oh, who was that? I've answered the question. The answer is I will consult with all residents, all stakeholders, review all the data, review all the evidence, and make the best decision possible for local residents and Lee County residents as a whole. That's my answer.
I don't believe any of these questions would put anybody on the spot. And we have an algae problem here about 5 months ago, and this has really been our standards of water are being addressed through a lawsuit for the DEP. But I'd like to ask any of the Congress, the federal group, if they'll respond as to something that they can help us with the Federal Clean Air and Water Act. Maybe Bert might address that.
I am not familiar with the lawsuit. I will tell you that I have spent the last several years working on legislation to clean up the waterways. The best thing that could happen at the federal level would be for the federal government to honor their commitment to help restore the Everglades. For example, we have in Florida spent almost $3 billion, that's with a B, restoring the Everglades, and that's going to help clean up the Caloosahatchee River. Our federal partners that are required to match us 50-50 have spent about $300 million, about 10%. If the federal government will honor its commitment to restoring the Everglades and providing the funding, that will result in the cleanup of Lake Okeechobee and the cessation of the discharge of polluted water down the Caloosahatchee River. I've had a great opportunity to help work on solving that problem. That will be a priority if I'm elected to Congress. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm a foreigner here this evening. I'm out of Matlacha, another area that's under attack. And my heart is with the folks in Alva because we know what you're going through. I have a question for Commissioner Bob James. I've served the last 6 years as the chairman of your Lee County Smart Growth Program, which means we want to envision what Lee County will look like in the year 2050. Now, I know I'll be in the Pine Box Derby in the year 2050, but I'd like to ask Commissioner James Will you support any of these efforts of the development community to lower the impact fees? I know Commissioner James has just gotten over double pneumonia, and I really appreciate his being here. Thank you, Commissioner.
The question is, would I support lowering impact fees? And I have to tell you that I do support impact fees, number one, because there is no alternative. If you believe that growth pays for growth, we have to utilize impact fees to help pay for growth. Now, is there something that we might be able to do as part of the county to stimulate our economy? And one might be to give an exception to those people whose projects are ready to go today, give them maybe 6 months or 3 months to get their project off the road, and we can waive impact fees or perhaps lower them. That has not been fully discussed nor approved by the board, but I have no problem taking a look at that and examining it. Do I believe in doing away with impact fees? Not until we have a better, more equitable system.
My question's for Mr. Wilkinson. I moved here 4 years ago, and I purchased my home for $179,000 in Lee County. And I was reappraised, and now my home is valued at $220,000. Retired military. I had got my homestead exemption. After my homestead exemption, I now pay $330 more a month for my mortgage than I did when I first moved here. And currently, I don't see any benefits from the current system. I'd like to know what he's going to do, to improve it.
There's a number of things that are out here, out in the public, that we're going to be voting on the November 4th, that will help in some situations similar to yours. You're caught up in a couple of scenarios. We've had rapid increases, as we know. The appraiser doesn't make the values, buyers and sellers do. The biggest problem is we're always a year behind the market. What is happening in 08, I can't use till 09. It was never a problem until we started having values going down. So you have to wait another year for that to come down again. The values are out on the website. Check your value today. Call me tomorrow. I'll be happy to talk to you in more detail. It's hard to do it one-on-one without the detail of what you're doing. I'm a veteran. I never want to do anything to hurt you.
Any more questions from the public? I think we forgot to mention the candidates that weren't on our agenda, but we do have some candidates in the audience. If your candidate wasn't on the agenda, please stand up so we can recognize you. I believe that Larry Murphy is running for mosquito control and District 1, and he lives in Alva, and he's a member of Alva too. Good guy. Julie Tyler is running for the East County Water Management Board. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name ahead of time. Okay. Jason Moon is running for the Lee Memorial Hospital Board. Oh, okay.
I didn't know the candidates that weren't speaking tonight were supposed to sit down front. I'm Marilyn Stout, and I'm running for the Lee Memorial Hospital Board, District 1.
Okay, if we have no more questions, I want to remind you once again, we do have one. BJ is our vice president. She gets special treatment. We can ask 2 questions.
My question is for Sheriff Mike Scott. Are you still here? Well, we've had a lot of crime recently in Alva, and all of us are concerned, and we do discuss it at our meetings, and you do come to our meetings periodically, which we're very grateful for. Thank you very much. One of the things that we've kind of talked about, is there any possibility of a substation in the Alva area in the near future?
Currently, we cover Alva out of our Lehigh substation, which was recently expanded. As you know, as most of you know, it's not that far away from here. And keep in mind that substations in and of themselves don't solve crimes. It's the deputies out on the streets on patrol. And so, regardless of where a substation is, our deputies that are actually patrolling and moving through a community are going to be your first responders. Certainly, as is the case with the town of Fort Myers Beach, where we had a substation and lost it, I'm interested in revisiting that. I would always be interested in opening a dialogue to revisit such an arrangement with an area like Alva, again, Fort Myers Beach, or anywhere else. I mean, Bonita has one, Boca Grande has one, Cape Coral has one. So certainly, I'm a proponent of that, but it does come with a cost. And we don't want it to become a false safety blanket, because again, buildings don't solve crimes and catch criminals. Deputies on patrol in those green and whites or undercover vehicles do. That's why we keep kicking down the doors on these grow houses and moving these people out of town or into prison.
Any more questions?
Hi, my name is Bobby Quillen. I live in Alva, and I'm a construction owner, metal, drywall, stucco. And my question is, I kind of go a lot of different ways with the density. I'm all about quality density. I'm about quality with Bonita Bay. My question is to the existing commissioners, how did they let Calusa Preserve, Serengeti, and Hickey's Creek get through just on one-to-one without having the same standards that we're demanding of Bonita Bay?
I'd like to hear from the two that asked it, or whoever was involved. Either one's fine.
The Lee County Comprehensive Plan is an evolving document. As far as some of those other developments that you spoke of, those were, I'm sure, ag or rural to begin with, and things haven't changed. We are now in a situation, however, where the Alva community has worked very diligently to provide amendments to the Lee County Comprehensive Plan, which the County Commission will hear in October to transmit to the Department of Community Affairs. And what that will do is, after it comes back to the Board of County Commissioners, which we will hopefully adopt after the first of the year, is to then move forward with the implementation of all the land development regulations that the Alva community is insisting on, which I fully support. I think that will certainly help to ensure that the Alva community remain rural and that you continue to enhance your quality of life.
I live right next door. Who asked the question? Where are you? Yeah. Serengeti adjoins my property. I moved there because there was cows next door to me. Now there's 26 home sites. It was on 31 acres. But what they did was they complied with the 1 unit per 1 acre. And that's exactly what they did. In fact, when they had to set some aside for wetlands, that's why they could only have 26 units on the 31. But they've done exactly what I think we're asking the new people that come here to hold it at 1 per 1.
May I respond to that, please? Let's have a question.
I live across from Calusa Preserve, which was an out-of-town developer that came in, that sold the entire site of 253 home sites to out-of-state buyers with no compulsion to have any build at any time. My wife and I look every day across the river, and we see 5, 6, 7 houses, 4 which are in foreclosure, with no future or any discipline to have these guys build. Our concern is we're creating another Lehigh, another Cape Coral, that we don't let these guys follow the rules. And we have to have rules. And my concern with that is, what are we going to do about these outside developers no longer here? They're not here anymore. And there's no compulsion on that, so what do we do?
Well, that's a terribly broad question, and I really don't know where to go with it, but they didn't get the permits to build and violate the existing rules. go back and change what has happened there in the past. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of us would just as soon not have anybody come here. There's a lot of people in here right now tonight, all over Lee County, that would like to be the last one to move in here. But we've got 150,000 parcels already approved for development in Lehigh, and another 150,000 already approved in Cape Coral. All I'm saying, and all I think everybody is saying here, is whatever that density is today, for goodness sakes, don't make it any worse. And that's what I've been fighting for, and I think that's what you guys are all here holding arms together and going to walk through the minefields together for. I see you shaking your head, but you're asking me to change something that happened before. I can't do that.
Well, that was my question. How did it happen?
Well, I've only been here 2 years, and what you're describing happened before that, so I can pass this right back to one of these other guys here. And they'll have Southern amnesia too.
We're going to ask you to stay with one question per person, please. Anyone else?
I've got part comment, part question. My comment is, a lot of talk's been had and done tonight about taxes. I'm personally not against taxes. I think we should pay them. However, I ask the people that we help elect to be as fiscally responsible with my money as I am. One of the things that embarrasses me the most with our current Board of County Commissioners is that we have our highest paid county official involved in a situation where he's at. I would ask some of the people that are currently running, not the incumbents, on what their position of that is and how do we not have this person suspended until we get to the bottom of it. I think there's a question of integrity involved, and that's not the country that I want. Well, I don't know if we have to say the name, but Don Stillwell is oh, I'm sorry. Really, anybody that's running currently, I've got friends and neighbors on the current board, and
interesting question. There's legalities and ethics and all that involved. The board voted unanimously to have Mr. Stillwell stick around and work. This is a very important time. This is budget time, budget preparations and whatnot. Not true, 3-2? I'm sorry, 3-2, they voted for him to stay, wanting him to work. And he's been on vacation. Is he back yet? He took off on vacation, that's the truth. He should, in my opinion, been placed on administrative leave, let his 2 assistants take it and run. The job of that chief administrator is not only to do his job, but to prepare his understudies to do his job. They should have been able to pick that up until the legal process was done and he was exonerated or proven guilty.
Thank you. I'd like to respond to that question. And first, I'd also like to thank Chairman Commissioner Ray Judah for his leadership. And let me also mention that I supported his position on this issue. And my position is I think that he should have been on leave at minimum with pay. My opponent opposed that. He did not want him to take a leave of absence with pay. I will tell you, I do think that we need to seriously look at ethics reforms for people in county government investing in unincorporated land in Lee County, and the time has come for ethics reform and change.
I feel that he should be on administrative leave and reserve judgment until judgment is done or made by legal authority. You can't just run someone into the ground. You wouldn't want it to happen to you, I wouldn't want it to happen to me. But he should have his staff who are sufficiently trained to handle things while he is on leave. If he doesn't, he isn't as good as we think he is.
Gerard David. I agree with fellow Commissioner Brian Bigelow. I ran with Brian back in 2006, like I said, and I learned a lot from Brian. And one thing that I watched those county board meetings on television, on Channel 16 Live, and I can tell you that Brian had it right. I believe that once a liar, always a liar. And secondly, when he said he wasn't involved in any way on that first time he was asked, when Mr. Rager, I'm sorry to say, put Brian in his place and wouldn't let him answer. I believe that was wrong. I believe that if the man is in charge of our money, I believe he should have been removed without pay and pay his own legal fees, and the county shouldn't be paying $325 an hour until after the election. If they're so concerned about the honesty, then they should have moved it up, stop everything, and let's solve that.
Thank you for coming, sir. Thank you for coming. Property appraisal.
I didn't get a chance to talk.
Have a good one. Yeah, I know what it was. I emailed you. Where's it? You had a crowd, huh?
From which tape? From the
Thank you for coming. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal. Thank you very much. Oh, hi,
Exactly.
Thank you for coming, sir. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, man. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Wilkinson for property appraisal. Thank you for coming, man. Ken
Going in through the outdoor here.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, sir. Ken Wilkinson. Thank you. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal. Thank you for coming, sir. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal. Thank you for coming, man. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for coming, sir. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal. Give him a call.
Big difference. Oh, hello, fun.
Thank you for coming, man.
See, I don't want to cut in front of her. She's doing such a great job.
Years ago, yes. That's right. Okay, my love.
Thank you for coming, man.
Thank you.
Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal. Thank you for coming, sir.
Okay, I'm going to put a sign up there.
Thank you for coming, sir. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal.
Just got me another big sign put up.
Nice.
Put it right in between them, the three of them.
I'm going to go for my re-election. Nice to meet you.
Take care, sir. All right.
Thank you for coming, sir. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal. Ken Wilkinson for property appraisal. Thank you for coming.
Middlebrook, good job again.
Thank you, sir. All